That was a song Leech by Eddie Vague, released off of his new album, which is entitled Burn Us Down. We got Eddie and Trevor. We got Eddie Vague and Trevor Behning in here in the studio talking about music and, all the fun stuff that just is cheaper than therapy, writing songs. So, Eddie Vague. Tell us a little bit about Leech right there.
Yeah, so to put it simply, Leech is about, you can compare it with people, with certain things, your job, anything that breaks you down, and basically brings out that bad side of yourself, like you dig in more and more and more, and then one day I'm just going to, snap. And
right.
So basically that's what that song is about the leech of your life.
Oh, I've definitely been there in many jobs. Yep. You're just at that breaking point of it. And so when did your new album, Burn Us Down, officially come out?
It came out last month. I believe it was on the 17th. I think it was like the 17th, honestly. I don't really remember.
Awesome.
I just did it all at once, man. I was like, let's release this immediately.
Right. Well, you got 12 tracks on it. We're definitely going to play a few here. And we're also sitting here with Trevor Behning. Now, right when you guys came in, I thought you'd be twins, something like that. So
brothers.
Brothers. So how did you guys meet up? What's that story?
We were, I met Eddie when I was 13, and I didn't have any real blood siblings, but I met Eddie in school, and we hit it off, and I followed him home like a lost dog one day, and I just sort of never left. So, and so we've been together ever since. Like I said, member of the family, and just from there, everything just kind of boiled over to how we're here today.
Right. So you guys took in the stray, huh?
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what they did.
All right. Who was the first one to really pick up on music?
Oh, that's a hard one.
That's a tough one. Yeah, we I think when we met, music was a big reason why we met. We still remember the first song that we ever listened to together. Like, oh man, you're into this kind of stuff, and
really, that was actually the first question, like the first verbal thing that we came up with. Like, we were both in art class, and we would always wear our headphones. Jam and draw and not do our work. And so he comes up to me. He was seated next to me, actually, and then he kind of turns. He's like, "What are you listening to?" Because he saw I was drawing, and so that's basically what it started off with, is music.
That song was None Shall Pass by Aesop Rock. So, if anybody ever wants to quiz us in the street on that one, that's the answer. But
None shall pass. Yep.
But that was kind of how things started. And then, as far as making music, we started making music together as well. Like, it was at the exact same time. We just had the idea one day, we need to go to Guitar Center, we need to buy gear right now, and we're going to teach ourselves, and we're going to start writing music, and that's exactly what we did.
And how long ago was this?
This would have been 9 years ago when we started making music. Yeah, so 9-10 years ago, something like that.
Very nice, very nice. And just decided, hey, we're just going to start doing it. So when it comes to instrumentation, stuff like that, Trevor, what do you like playing?
I'm a vocalist, man, so I'm a writer. That's what I always wanted to do, was write. I play guitar a little bit as well. I'm not nearly as proficient as Eddie over here, but he really took the music capabilities to a whole nother level, farther than I ever did. So when we got to the point, or I guess when I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I think it would be beneficial for both of us if I kind of focus more on writing and leave the production side to him. That's really the route that we went.
So tell us about the music then, Eddie. So you go to Guitar Center. What did you start with?
Oh man,
was it keyboard? Was it guitar?
It was definitely guitar. Yeah. Okay. We walked in. We had no idea what we were looking for. We just decided to walk in there one day and ended up financing a $50 Fender Strat and a little garage amp, and for $25, was it?
Something like that.
It was like starter kits.
Yeah,
we were just getting used equipment, and we were just gonna roll with it.
Yeah, right? So that's what I started off with. I've been playing guitar since then, since I was 20, and I'm not the best or anything, but I like to think that I'm pretty good at it, having not taken any classes or any lessons.
So you're self-taught?
Yeah, self-taught. Yeah. I think at this point we both are, and I've always wanted to do some sort of school on it, but I feel like it's not necessary when I'm already at this current level.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I took lessons for a little while, and then eventually you got to just kind of break off and be like, I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
You know,
it's almost more, it adds more character, you know?
Do you just do a lot of electric guitars? Do you do acoustic at all?
Mostly acoustic.
Mostly acoustic.
So I started off with an electric. Turns out when we started to write songs, obviously, I'm not going to use an electric for an acoustic song. You know what I mean? Or like live, like at an open mic. So I decided to. He actually gave me a guitar for Christmas. It was an Epiphone. I forgot what model it was, but
that's a good brother.
Yeah, that's when I started. That's when I started to actually get into more acoustic stuff. And yeah, I mean, ever since then, I've been buying all kinds of acoustic guitars. I've had more electrics, but not as much as acoustic stuff.
And when you write, is it usually with electric or acoustic, or
I start off with chord progressions on an acoustic guitar. So right now I have a 12-string Martin, and that's kind of what I do. I start doing chord progressions, getting a little bit of a thing going on there, and then if the song requires electric, I either hook up the 6-string that I have, which isn't an electric guitar, but I mean I got effects, I can mess with it on this.
Yeah, especially today. Yeah, exactly. And how long? So album just came out last month. How long have you been working on this album?
I would say in the course of a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
Yeah, I have written a few of those songs. I believe I wrote acoustically like years ago, but I decided to kind of remaster everything. Now that I'm learning more about production. I added drums, I added bass, synth and all that stuff. So I basically revamped them and put them on the album. So technically, yeah, about a year and a half creating the album.
Nice. And you and Trevor kind of work on songs a lot. Trevor, did you add to this album as well?
Did, yeah. So I think I'm on, I don't know, I would say probably 3 or 4 of the songs off this album. I kind of played a part in. Eddie really wanted to, from the get-go, he was very much so, this was going to be the album where he could kind of explore a little bit more than we normally have in the past. He wanted to try some different things. He wanted to kind of expand his horizons a little bit. And I had no problem kind of stepping back as well and saying, hey, man, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So he really wanted to take control on this album. I think he accomplished that very well. So I think I'm only on 3 or 4, I would say, along the way. But as far as having my opinion on things, I've always liked Eddie's, he's always sending me stuff. Hey man, check this out. Look at what I'm working on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And little critiques here and there, or whatever. I think, I like to give him that because it gives him that new challenge. So my critiquing, I think, is definitely on a few of those other songs. But as far as me being directly involved, I think I'm only on 3 or 4.
And so your main thing, you really like doing the lyric part.
Yeah. Big time.
The writing lyrics.
Yep, okay. Absolutely.
When you write lyrics, is it autobiographical? Is it fiction?
Good question. It's a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. I like storytelling. You know what I mean? Storytelling is huge for me. So even when I'm listening to music, I'm looking for artists that can kind of give me a peek into their world a little bit, right? Without it sounding so, I would say, kind of cliche. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like that authenticity. So that's really where I come from. That's what I'm looking for. That's how I write. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, little pieces of the songs that I write and the lyrics that I write that absolutely have some truth to them. You know what I mean? They have some history there for me. But I guess as I've kind of grown as a writer too, one of the things that I've tried to do is give that look into my life a little bit, so you do get to peek behind the curtain, but I also leave it up for interpretation so other people can connect to it as well.
That's one of the greatest things about music right there. Is
I think that's why we mix so well as a group, him and I, because I'm more of a metaphorical guy. He's storyteller, so I feel like when we make a song together, it comes together really well.
Do you guys work on the lyrics a lot together, back and forth? And
so the ones that we do, as Eddie Vague and the Restarters, he writes his verse, I write my verse, we critique each other on our verses, and if something sounds off, or we do work on writing together.
Right, gotcha.
But that, like I said, those are mainly the songs that we do together.
Perfect. Yeah, and we'll get into a little Eddie Vague and the Restarters a little bit. I do want to play one more, and this is off of your new album as well, Obsidian.
That one actually is releasing on your station today.
On the station today.
Yes.
This is the very first sneak. Awesome. That is great. All right. Well, then I definitely need to know what this song is about.
Yeah. Well, if you want to cry today, then you just let me know.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just throw into that right now. Eddie Vague, brand new song on the station right here with Obsidian. We will be right back with Eddie Vague and Trevor Behning on K4CO. Mr. Eddie Vague with his song Obsidian right there. I really love the Love the acoustic that it starts and ends with, and then the beat of that song. So, yeah, what was going through your head when you wrote that? What's that song about?
Oh man, that one definitely took a turn from the typical music that I write. I do write some depressing stuff, but that one was more of an enlightenment for me, because I took everything that, let's say, personal, like bad experiences that have happened to me, and I know that I have had either a person or something that helped me out of those situations.
Right.
So Obsidian to me, I believe it's a very empowering mineral or rock, right? Or they used to use it to make spears, and so I believe that those things in my life that have helped me through these bad times are my rock, my obsidian, and it can be a person, it can be a thing. I've had people come and go that have taught me, lessons in life to help me out of those situations.
It could be a song. It could be almost anything. Yeah.
And honestly, that song was also one of the reasons, that I'm like, okay, I'm going to write something that will make me feel better or kind of, relieve a little bit of stress.
Right. Well, that's music right there. So absolutely love it. Do you do all of your own sound engineering, your mixing, your mastering, all of that stuff?
So right now I am producing with a software called BandLab, which is, very common. A lot of people say it's a good program, and so I just hopped on one day and I started learning, again, self-taught. I'm just clicking stuff around, and I learned how to produce beats on there. I learned how to sample, any kind of instrument at that point. They have a good selection of samples, but at the same time, I like to make sure that I have a big contribution in that. I'm not just going to make something that's not me. So the solos that you hear, some of the acoustic stuff, a little bit of percussion. Sometimes I do like a little, sound that kind of adds to that song, along with the lyrics, but that's typically what I'm doing right now. As far as distributing the music, the mastering goes through United Masters, which I do have like a premium, let's say, subscription for it.
Okay.
It's so certain amount to send a song to be mastered and to be distributed to like Spotify, Apple Music, to all the platforms.
So you do all the mixing and then you send it out for mastering.
Yes.
On that, yeah. That's good. I mean, I know this great guy up at Colorado Sound Studios. He's been doing mixing and mastering for almost 30 years, and he's like, I'm still learning stuff. So it's nice to have that mastering going on.
And it's good for me right now because, I can't afford to pay this person or said person, I'd rather be an independent person right now, just to get established in the music scene. And
you and Trevor both kind of record in-house?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I have my own studio. Yeah.
Right. It's a lot cheaper than going out. Exactly.
A lot cheaper.
It's like 30 takes, whatever. Yeah. So Trevor, when you kind of got in, so I want to talk real quick. So you have Eddie Vague, and then you have Eddie Vague and the Restarters. How'd that name come about?
It's interesting. So when we used to, our original project, when we first started making music and that sort of thing, we've gone through many iterations of what we wanted to be and kind of the music that we wanted to make and everything else. So when we were making things long ago, we were actually under the name 144th North for a long time. And then we kind of developed this sense of we wanted to feel out independent waters a little bit, right? So we kind of split up. We started making, we ended up having our own projects, right, aside from each other, where we could kind of really get into a rhythm, you know? But we always knew that we still missed the way, our songwriting together, that was something that we could never really find elsewhere. So we finally decided after, a pretty decent period of time, it was like, you know what, now that we've had that chance to kind of explore try some different things creatively. Let's get back to the roots. So literally we were, kind of restarting together. So I remember we were sitting on the porch one day, we were having this conversation, and it was like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, we're going to restart everything. We're going to be the restarters.
What are we going to name it?
What are we going to name it? Yeah. So, but yeah, that's where the Restarters name kind of came to be. And yeah, we've ran with it ever since.
I like it. It's kind of catchy, actually. So, and then, how many songs have you guys done under the Restarters?
Oh, wow.
If I'm putting a number on it, we've probably done somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 40.
Oh, wow.
The
30.
thing is a lot of them haven't been released. When we were playing shows, especially before COVID, I mean, one of our favorite things to do is when we weren't focused on recording, we like to go out and play shows. So the majority of our music we played live, people may have actually heard those songs. You just can't find them now to listen to, and that's kind of the rough patch. But we've talked about it plenty of times. Like, one of these days, we're going to get together and we're just going to record all the old stuff. But so newer songs that exist out there right now that you can hear us both be a part of, I would say probably 10 to 12, maybe something like that.
Yep.
So somewhere in that range.
Yeah. And it was a huge leap, like because we have one EP from 144th North. Nothing on the Restarters until now, right? But that EP only has like 5 or 6 songs. But that was when we were acoustic and barely starting.
Yeah.
So that compared to now is a huge
jump.
For us.
Just night and day.
Right.
Right. And are you guys, do you guys go out and play live right now, or you're just concentrating on some recordings? What's going on right now?
We played a few places recently. Primarily if we're playing shows and stuff nowadays, we're sticking up north. So we're kind of Northland, Thornton area. We play a lot of local gigs and that sort of stuff. I guess I shouldn't say a lot, but I would say in the past few months we played, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 gigs, something like that. We used to play, like I said, a lot more before COVID kind of changed the frame of the scene a little bit. So that really didn't help. So, but yeah, I mean, generally speaking, if we're playing somewhere, it's usually not so much downtown anymore like it used to be, but we still get out every once in a while.
Got some nice favorite places.
Yeah,
right now that you
Herman's
guys go?
Hideaway was a good.
Herman's Hideaway was always a favorite, but nowadays we were playing Mystic Mountain Distillery. Eddie was actually bartending there for a little while, so that was a fun spot just because it was like, you know what, it's we're good with the team there, so we might as well get in here. Let's get some music going, So that's really ultimately what we were doing. Yeah,
should do like a drinking live performance, kind of like drinking golf.
Yeah,
1 beer every song.
Yep. hey, I was in charge of the music, so I was like, let's do a show next month. Let's do a show a month after that.
Right.
And I would get out there with my drink and slam it and start yelling.
Yep, absolutely.
People love that.
I love just screaming into a mic with a whiskey in my hand. I mean, I'm all for it.
But ultimately, I only use that bar for music. So I'm sorry.
It's kind of like, I remember, way back in the day, there was this bootlegged version of Bradley Knoll where the rest of the Sublime band couldn't show up. They didn't show up. And so he just basically from the start of the CD started drinking. By the end of it, he's just
hammered. Just schwacked.
Right. Exactly. So do you guys when you're in the studio and everything, do you do the music first when you're writing and everything like that? Do you do the lyrics first? And you're the lyric guy mainly. So a lot of times is Eddie like, hey, here's some music. So, what do you think about lyrics?
So the funny thing is that just 2 days ago? 2 days ago, we went to my studio and I started playing a little chord progression, right? He's like, where's a pen? Give me a pen. We couldn't find a pen to save our lives, and all I had was a crayon. So
that's cute.
He started writing. He started writing with a crayon, and sure, yeah. Anyway, to answer that question, we start with a little guitar, and then we get a little rhythm out of it. And he's like, "Okay, I got the tempo. I got a flow with the lyrics," and he starts writing. And literally, that's how we've been making songs since the beginnings. We've pulled songs in 15 minutes, like entire songs. And now it's a little different because I produce more. But typically, that's how we do it.
Nice. No, so you always have some little template, and then you just kind of hear what's going on.
Yeah, we go from there.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. Well, let's get into this first song that we're going to do. We're going to play a couple of them from Eddie Vague and the Restarters. The Way You Often Do. The Way You Often Do. That's an interesting title.
This is a good one. I think this is the best one I've produced.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Let us know about this one.
So, The Way You Often Do, at least from my opinion, I mean, I wrote the lyrics from the idea that everything is cyclical, right? Everything is cyclical. It doesn't matter if it's a short term, if it's a long term thing, whatever the case may be. It could be a relationship. It could be something going on in your life. It could be your parents. It could be whatever it is, you know? So it's kind of up for interpretation in a way, like we kind of touched on earlier, you know, kind of fit it to your own mold. But that's what it's about, is cyclicality and how eventually everything comes back for you.
Perfect. And this one's on the new album as well.
Yes, this is on Burn Us Down. And I guess in my opinion, in my point of view, I see it as a relationship thing a little more. And I was thinking about it on the way down here, that sometimes the bad outweighs the good, you know, and either you got to find a way to figure that out, or you just got to let it go eventually.
Right.
And The Way You Often Do meant like we fight often, or we're happy often, or like, you know, for example, those things, they happen often. And I feel like no matter what, there's always going to be I guess an outcome, you know, for that.
So it's not exactly the balancing act, it's the outcome that you take from it. Gotcha. All right, well, we will be right back. We're going to play this song, Eddie Vague and the Restarters. This is on the new album as well, Burn Us Down. This is The Way You Often Do.
As we dive into the darkness, close the door on all the solace, losing our minds, losing our minds.
Eddie Vague and the Restarters right there with The Way You Often Do. That is also available on the new album that is out on Eddie Vague, Burn Us Down. That was just released last month. Very interesting song right there. And you guys were telling me, while the song was playing that, Eddie, your sister-in-law is the one singing there.
She's like, don't tell them anything about that song. Or about her being on there. And I was like, I'm definitely going to do it.
Oh, yeah. I'll pry it out of you. Yeah.
So that day, when I started creating this song, I had used a sample from that program.
Okay.
And, I did a little bit of singing on that first part as well. That's kind of how it started. But I couldn't find that connection with that first part. So then, I knew that she likes to sing sometimes, and she, I think she tried out for this, for worship team for the church. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to test your limits. So I called her and I was like, hey, I'm going to stop by. I need you to do something for me real quick. And long story short, she was interested in the song. At first she was skeptical about it because she knows that we like to scream our heads off. But, no, she went for it, and every time I said, hey, try it like this, like she was a pretty quick learner about that, and so she did really well on that.
Nice. Do you guys every once in a while bring in other outside people to help you guys out, like your sister-in-law, or kind of rare?
I think it's rare that I choose somebody that doesn't have, not in a bad way, but not the experience for like with music, like because she's not very interested in making music. But with other artists, like on that album, I have maybe like 3 or 4 different artists, right? And those are people that I have ran into along our journey with music. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe, like Trevor said earlier, testing the waters and trying different things on this album, trying to figure out what I am or what we are. Why not get a bunch of other people and see what we can work up with that?
And your sister-in-law, Ashley Renee, didn't want to be mentioned.
She's shy. Yeah, she was shy.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
perfect.
There it is, right
Perfect.
There. I do see on your album you got a couple kind of guest people come on in. Mm-hmm. And then, Trevor, you're doing the main vocals on that, and very clean.
Thank you.
Actually.
Appreciate
very clean.
that.
I like it. And I don't know. How'd you enjoy, is this one of your favorite ones that you guys have done?
I think so, because, like we were kind of talking to their break, it definitely took me out of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. That tone is something that I've never kind of, messed with before, but
the clean tone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But it came really naturally. I remember when he showed me the music and he's just like, this is what I'm working on. What do you think? Mm-hmm. And the second I heard that, I just jumped right into it, and the tone was there, and it was, it just came to me. So so that one's definitely fun because it's a lot different, and most people that know the way I generally am vocally, they listen to that and they're like, "That's you? That's not you." And I'm like, "Yes, it is." And they're like, "What happened?"
It's super clean. It's super clean too. And what I love about it is he definitely hit a high note on that, on the way you often do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And ever since then, I'm like, I want you to keep doing this. Like, I like the way he sings regularly, but that song just made definitely a different type of feeling.
It opened a door, I would say, to kind of future things that we can do and future projects. And, it definitely kind of broadened our horizons a little bit as far as vocally what we can do, kind of moving forward as we get new music ideas and see what we can do from a tone perspective. So. Mm-hmm.
And that's a great thing. I mean, like you guys said, just kind of get out of your comfort level, kind of like try new things, try different things. I mean, evolve, really.
And I think that's one of the, I think that's the only song on the album that I only do a chorus. Because typically I have a verse or like a breakdown of sorts, but I felt very comfortable with that song and just doing the choruses.
Okay, and you said you typically don't like to have choruses?
No, so I do. I mean, I like to have the whole song, right? If you ask me, but lyrically, I'm not as skilled as far as my vocabulary goes. That's where Trevor comes in. He's definitely the walking encyclopedia. And I like to pride myself in creating feeling in the music. But lyrics, you know, I can write a verse. I can do all that. But I feel more comfortable liking or like, I guess, being more interested in the music.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. And I know, you know, to a lot of people. So are you one of those that really just hones in on the music? I mean, so, you know, our vice president, Robbie, I hope he's listening right now. It's like he's heard certain songs his whole life and he never even knew what the lyrics said. You know, it's all about the music that he focuses on. And then I would take it Trevor.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm kind of a singer-songwriter kind of, so I always look at the lyrics.
Yep, I'm the same way. I mean, I could listen. So I'm the complete opposite. You know what I mean? We'll be in the car and we'll hear a song and I'm like, Eddie, you got to listen to these lyrics. You know what I mean? And the whole time at the end of the song, he's like, what did he say? He's like, dude, did you hear that banjo? I'm like, there was a banjo in that song? You know what I mean? I wouldn't even have noticed. So yeah, we kind of bounce back and forth off that. It takes us generally 3 or 4 like complete listens through a song before we can really hear what each other's talking about. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it even happens with our songs. Like I call him up and I'm like, what did you say on that first part or this and that? I don't remember, but I do remember every single note that I've played.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yep.
but yeah, to answer that, yeah, I hyper focus on how good the music sounds and how crisp it. You know, no feedback. No, I'm very. Maybe that's a problem.
Technical, I would say.
Yeah, very technical about my music.
No muddiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, you mix it very well, I must say.
Thank you.
So wanted to get into you guys growing up to now, because one thing that I absolutely love asking are influences, of course. So, and it's a very unique kind of sound what you do. So I'm very curious as to who you grew up listening to, who are your favorites, and how that's kind of changed over the years. Let's start with you, Trev.
Yeah, so I think growing up anyway, we were inspired by a lot of the same stuff. We were listening to rock and roll. I mean, that's primarily what we listened to, whether it be classic rock, modern rock, whatever the case. We got into metal pretty heavy in high school, obviously, but we still had a lot of hip hop elements that really inspired us. You know what I mean? Like I mentioned earlier, Aesop Rock. I mean, that was he was how we met. So hip hop's always had its place in our heart, and I think especially from a writing perspective, you know what I mean, a songwriting perspective, you definitely can kind of get that hip hop element every once in a while. But so that's primarily, I would say, what we grew up on. Me personally, I took the punk rock and the hardcore route.
Nice.
I'm still a punk at heart.
Had a few teeth knocked out.
Yeah, definitely had my forays, but
in the mosh pit all the time.
Oh yeah, big time. So that was my bread and butter for a long time. But then as I kind of got older and things started to hurt more, kind of had to transition. So nowadays I'm kind of across the board. But like I said, anything with strong storytelling, anything that can kind of capture my attention is primarily what I listen to from a lyrical perspective. So that could even come from like an EDM song. I might hear a harmony or a hook or something like that just hits me because it's written right, or it's written in that tone. So, but yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. But I mean, yeah, if I'm getting back to my roots, man, it's punk rock forever.
Punk rock. There you go.
In addition to what he said about the hip hop always being a part of our thing here, I am working on a new EP. It's got about 6 songs on it, and they're mostly based on hip hop. So that's exciting. I don't know when I'm going to release it just yet, but just know that it will be released this year. As far as the question goes, I talked a little bit about this last time. My big influences in my life growing up have definitely been rock and roll. My father and my brothers. My father was, when he was a kid, younger in Mexico, he was the guy that everyone was like, whoa, punk rocker. He wore leather jackets, Converse, and, growing up, he brought up a lot of Metallica, Pantera, Maggot, all kinds of stuff. And, I guess I was just accustomed to listening to that every day. And so it grew on me, and by the time I was old enough to understand music is like a huge thing for me, that's kind of what got me into, that's kind of what led us to this moment.
Right. Of creating it all on your own. I like it. Favorite band? I know it's really hard to say, but there you go. I like it.
If I had to pick, I would say it's got to be a dead tie, man. It's a dead tie between the Menzingers and AC/DC for me.
Nice.
I don't. What have I been listening to these days?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I listen to everything, man. It can go from Architects to Slayer to what's a Taylor Swift. I don't care, man. Whatever sounds good to me is what I'm into.
If it sounds good, it can't be right or it can't be wrong.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it right there. Especially, you mentioned soft to like heavy, and we kind of have a running joke around here where we play everything from mellow to metal, but not back to back because that'd be weird. But me personally, I'd be like, I'll listen to some Pink Floyd followed by Pantera.
100%, absolutely.
Just a roller coaster of stuff.
Get some variety,
right? Exactly.
Not a big fan of the Beatles, though, honestly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Not a big fan of the Beatles
or Pink Floyd.
Oh goodness, you're stabbing me in the heart here.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I had to mention that.
So, you mentioned that you're doing one that's a lot of hip hop, like 6 tracks. Is that something you guys are currently working on to be released next? Is that like your next project, or are you just one of those guys, one of those bands where it's just like we got like 20 in the tube?
No, so these songs were definitely after I released this album. I think there was only one song that I worked on that was not on the album, but I released it afterwards, and that was the self-titled "Burn Us Down" song, which I didn't mind, releasing it afterwards. It was just kind of like a bonus thing, it didn't make it to the album. But these new songs for sure are mostly focused on electronic beats, almost with rock and hip-hop. I rap in some of these,
Oh, dear.
And it sounds good. I mean, to me it does.
Right.
So I was making fun of it the other day, and I called it Electro Rock Hop.
Sounds like a White Zombie album.
Yeah. Electro Rock Hop 75.
Right.
But that's what I've been working on.
So I find that very interesting how your title album song didn't make the cut for the album.
It was a production thing.
Okay, it's a production thing. All right.
I said the same thing. So
I already caught the heat from this dude.
So it wasn't the right time, production wise. You just decided to leave it out.
So that song includes a feature. It's a rapper that is on. He's on one of the songs called "Running Into You" on "Burn Us Down."
Okay.
So I invited him to do a verse, a pretty long verse on this song, this new one. And I guess just the timing was off. He's very busy. He records his own music, and he's pretty big in Colorado right now. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, just the timing was a bit off, and I needed to release that album before I came on to the radio station last time. Remember?
Yep.
And I just went with one song less.
Yep.
Well, what's the best place for people to contact you, listen to all your music? I mean, you're pretty much on all streaming platforms, right? And
all of them.
Amazon, people can purchase. You're on Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff.
Most importantly, I like to focus on Instagram and and Spotify.
Spotify.
I'm not a big Apple user, so I just
either am I.
I have an iPhone, but I get just a few people that are like, "Oh, is it on Apple Music?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?"
Yeah, it's still on there. Yeah.
But you can find me anywhere under the same name. I like to go by my stage name on my social media. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, last song that we're going to be playing here is Counteract the Weight. Trevor, what can you tell us about this song?
This song was written. It was written recently. It got produced really quickly, which was awesome. I mean, Eddie really went to work on this one. We had the lyrics recorded. I mean, we had the groundwork for this song done within like 2 days' time, which was awesome. So,
wow.
But this song was same thing. Kind of how he touched on earlier. You know what I mean? He had kind of a music idea, and he said, let's put it together. So we did, and showed it to me, and then bam, it just kind of hit me. So I would say the story for this song, from my perspective, I did write the majority of this song. So really what this song is about is is learning how to is learning the balance. You kind of mentioned something earlier, which I really liked. You said it's not so much the balancing act as the lesson or the takeaway that you come from it. You know what I mean? So this is very similar to that, but yeah, it is that balancing act. It's knowing when to draw the line. It's learning those skills that it takes over a course of so many years, right, of getting hurt or taking criticism or whatever the case, and being able to actually utilize the skills that you learn to fight that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To still break even at the end of the day. Because I think for a lot of people, me included, I mean, I have days where it's not about how accomplished I am or you know, how I come out on top. It's literally about breaking even, because breaking even is better than going the opposite way.
Exactly. I love the days of breaking even.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. So that's
Especially
really
in
kind of,
Vegas.
yeah, exactly.
And that day that we decided to make it a thing, like we were just chilling in his room, drinking a few beers, you know, and I was like, I actually brought my computer over, my whole computer, and you know, I started to find a little melody or something, and you know, it turned out to be one of the best, you know, songs that we've made together.
Yeah. Nice. Very cool. And so this one, this one's just being released, correct? Or when
Today
was
as well.
Today as well.
Yep.
First time on K4CO. I absolutely love it. And make sure that you send us some new stuff every time you guys get some
time.
more.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, definitely.
This is our state, right?
Well, we really appreciate you coming into the radio station, talking to us. Absolutely love it. Love kind of getting into, you know, the story behind the songs and behind the musicians. So, once again, we've been talking with Eddie Vague and also Eddie Vague and the Restarters, which is Eddie Vague and Trevor Behning. Gosh, I wish you guys all the best of luck and just absolutely love it.
Thank you for having us here.
Thanks for having us. It's been fun.
Yeah, of course, definitely. All right, we're going to play this last song, Eddie Vague and the Restarters with Counteract the Weight. You've been listening to an interview on K4CO. This will be up on our YouTube channel in a few days, so definitely check that out. And if you're not subscribed to it, do, because we throw all of our interviews up there. Thanks again, guys, and here is Counteract the Weight.
Don't hit like they used to. Counteract the weight of what I see through. Measure out the scales and you'll know the things that bind us together are too few. The things that bind us together